Welcome back to Hardball. Katherine Harris was the Republican hero of the 2000 Florida recount. She was elected to Congress twice, but now she's fighting for her political life in her bid to oust Democratic Senator Bill Nelson. The Florida primary is just 5 days away. Congresswoman Harris is in Tampa tonight. Welcome, Congresswoman.
Thank you, Nora. It's great to be on the show with you this evening.
Thank you for joining us. Now, last May, Governor Jeb Bush of Florida said, "I just don't think she can win." Why are you running?
Oh, because we can win. And when we travel the state, there is a wave of support from Republicans, Democrats, and independents. Because when they hear our voting record and our accomplishments versus the president's senator, it's really astonishing. He's left our traditional values. He doesn't line up with where Florida is, and we know we can win. That was kind of a political ploy prior to a qualification. We've been going everywhere. We have enormous support, and we know we're going to win.
The latest poll in your state out July shows, however, that it looks like a blowout, that Senator Nelson would crush you 61-24. That's a huge lead, even with just 2 months to the election. Is your campaign essentially a fool's errand?
Oh, you know, you can make polls say whatever you want. Nor look back at history. When I ran against the Democrat incumbent, I was down 30 points, and we won. When I ran against the Secretary of State, statewide against the incumbent, we're down 30 points, and we won with 20. Even Governor Bush was down 10 points a week before the election, and he won with 10. And certainly the president had an overwhelming re-election victory with 6 points. So we've seen the data. We know when we turn out our base that we'll win. Furthermore, when Democrats learn how liberal Bill Nelson truly is versus what he claims to be, then they're with us too. I mean, he's voted against eliminating the death tax permanently. He's voting against doubling the child tax credit, even getting rid of the marriage tax penalty, when we consistently have passed this in the House. And this is what people really care about. And
Congresswoman, I must ask you, because your campaign has also been dogged by questions of that there have been bizarre things that have happened on the campaign trail, statements by you, high staff turnover, etc. Recently, you told the Florida Baptist Witness there, which is a magazine, quote, "If you're not electing Christians, then in essence, you are going to legislate sin."
We were speaking, actually, let me make the record straight. I think everyone should participate, not only in voting, certainly, but in running for office as well. I was speaking to a specific segment of the people, because there's a common misperception that those in church should be separated, church and state. And I said, you need to get involved. Our Judeo-Christian ethics and values, if you want to be represented, you need to get involved, you need to vote. The same thing I would say when I would go to a temple to say you need to make certain that those you're electing are fighting for Israel, or even when I'm talking to Second Amendment folks and those who care about their hunting rights, I'll say, look, I have an A rating and Bill Nelson has an F. So I was speaking to a specific group.
Congresswoman, I know that your faith is very important to you. Do you believe, and what role do you believe that God plays in your decision to run for the Senate?
Well, certainly I've prayed about it, and God willing, you know, he's going to be there with me, but I don't think he's a Republican or Democrat. I just hope I'm on his side.
You know, I ask you that question because Ed Rollins, the prominent Republican strategist who was once your campaign manager and actually
quit. That was kind of silly. You know, he said that, I don't know what he said, but the fact is...
He said that you told him that God wanted you to be senator.
That's silly. That's just silly. I wouldn't be so presumptuous as to what God would say. I think that's up to his own decisions.
Ed Rollins was a former campaign manager. He quit. You have had 4 campaign chiefs of staff quit, and you've had 4 press secretaries quit. One of your speechwriters also quit, and when she informed her friends that she was quitting, she said in an email, quote, "Value of handing in my resignation letter, priceless." Other staffers have said that you spin completely out of control over the smallest things. They've not only quit, but they've been very tough on you. That's not something you normally hear in politics.
No, it's really not. But you know what? We have their email traffic. We know what was behind all of that. We know who's been paid, who isn't, and that will come out after the election. We're focused on moving forward. We're focused on a race that will come through the primary well, and with that momentum, we'll go forward in the general. All these campaign things are just extraneous issues that you're trying to distract the people. What we're focused on are issues like immigration, where we so differ from Bill Nelson. A Heritage Foundation said that the bill he supports would create 100 million new citizens at the cost of $50 billion a year over the next 20 years.
Given
we can't afford that.
Then, so Congresswoman, and all the ideas that you're talking about now, why is it then that even Karl Rove and others of the White House don't want you to run. Why do you think that there is this great dislike of your campaign?
I don't think there's a great dislike. In fact, across the board, the Republicans have supported me in every place we've gone. As I said, even Democrats and independents. I'm not going to go along to get along. It's always been that way in every single election that I've run. And in fact, I think there are far more issues that unite us than divide us. And I'm going to fight for what's best for Florida. Not a party elite, certainly not the liberal media, and not even to be do what's popular. I think I have a history of proving that. I'm going to do what's right. And I won't be a member of that good old boy club. I'm going to fight for Florida. I'm going to be the Florida People's Senator.
Congresswoman, there was recently a profile of you in one of the, I think, the New York Times, in which they said that you had said that your first thing that you wanted to do when elected senator is to bring a dog with you to work every day in order to use as a...
That's not the first thing I want to do. He was just asking along the trail. I said there's a Southeast Guide Dog Association. It's going to bring that puppy along. But the thing I said that I did want to do, first of all, was to make sure that we had tax reform. And I'm going to travel the state and focus on that. We've talked about the flat tax, but the fair tax would let us eliminate the IRS. We would pay taxes on what we spend versus the entire amount we earn. And in essence, bring back billions of dollars in capital that has fled the U.S. and really have a chance for capital formation, new jobs, and greater revenues. So we're going to focus on that tax reform as we have the most onerous tax system in the nation.
There has also been the Republican scandal, as you know, involving Congressman Duke Cunningham. You have been questioned in that case, and yet you did not tell members of your campaign staff that that was the fact, and they went out
Nora,
and made misstatements.
I think that's kind of old news. You know, we've moved on. We have a great campaign, and this is not what the people of Florida are interested in. But to address
you don't think that the people of Florida may or may not be interested in any potential corruption?
I will answer that. I will answer that. The Justice Department said there was no way we could have known that someone was going to reimburse contributions given to us in the future, and they have said we're not a target.
So tonight you can say here that you have been cleared in that investigation.
They have said I'm not a target. So we have moved on, and it's only the liberals that continue to pressure these kinds of issues. When people care about immigration, and people care that we don't have this amnesty and flood, and they care about cutting taxes, and they care right now in Florida, they care desperately about homeowners insurance that's gone up 300%, and largely because Bill Nelson failed to exercise leadership when he allowed the national insurance companies to cut and run and leave Floridians to insure themselves.
And finally, if you did have the chance, although it does not appear likely according to the White House, that the president would come and campaign with you, would you want President Bush to come and campaign with you?
We welcome everyone to the table.
All right, Congresswoman Katherine Harris from Tampa,
Thank you,
Florida.
Nora. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time.